Hello, I'm Savvy,
I'm Elise.
and this is the Video Game AV Club.
Doodaloo, doodaloo,
Yeah, I don't have a theme song yet.
doodaloo.
I'm working on it. I wonder what type of theme song we should do.
Da da da. No, that's copyrighted.
You can't do that. We'll figure it out. But anyway, we watched the FNAF movie.
The brand new FNAF
And if you
movie.
don't know what FNAF is, because I've had this conversation with people where I'm like, I'm seeing the FNAF movie, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I say, Five Nights at Freddy's, and they're like, oh, that Josh Hutcherson bit. And I'm like, yes, that one.
So Five Nights at Freddy's. It's in theaters currently, or you can do what we did and watch it on Peacock Premium
Mm.
from the comfort of yours or someone you know's home.
Home, yeah. More subscription services, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Five Nights at Freddy's was rated PG-13.
For what?
I
Terrifying imagery.
Violence.
Huh.
Little violence.
Sexual content. No.
No sexual content. Runs about 1 hour and 49 minutes. It is currently the 18th highest earning film of this year.
Wow.
At 133 million. So at first it didn't do super great. I don't think it was like the top movie, but it's slowly peeking its way up there.
As a movie that came out on both a streaming service and in theaters, I think it did pretty good.
Yes, considering competition. Well, competition now is that new Hunger Games movie.
There's a Hunger Games movie?
It's a prequel.
Is Josh Hutcherson in that one?
No, he's not.
Then why would I watch it?
It's a prequel.
No, thank you.
We have, like we said, Josh Hutcherson's in this. This was directed by Emma Tammy. She is also listed as one of the writers. She has not directed anything that I have ever seen.
Really?
She's something called The Winds and Into the Dark.
Okay.
The writers for this film were Scott Cawthon. Cawthon. I don't know why I keep trying to call him Cawthorn.
Sounds cool.
Cawthon. Cawthon, who is the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's nice that he's super involved because he kind of just gave the IP to a different studio recently because he doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. He wants to retire, but I guess when Hollywood comes a knocking, you're like, wait. Let me help with this.
Isn't he doing like Christian stuff now too?
I mean, maybe. They tend to do that. Them.
Then we have Seth Cuddleback, who also wrote Kelp and Mateo. I cannot tell you what either of those things are. And then
His name is Cuddleback?
Cuddleback. Cuddeback. I don't know, it's late when we're recording this, so
yeah.
We might make some mistakes. Surprisingly, a handful of well-known people in the film.
I mean, are you that surprised? It's a pretty popular franchise.
But it's older people it was a couple older people that I was like, oh, dang, I know who you are.
What else are they doing?
That's a great question.
My real question is, the one who plays the young sister in this movie. Yes. How old is she actually?
Oh, I can look it up. Her name is Piper Rubio. She only has a couple of things.
That's a really great name. Big fan of Piper Rubio. Somebody saw that name and was like, you should be a celebrity, and she just went with it.
She's like, absolutely. Let's see how old Miss Piper is. She's 8.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's been acting since she was 4. Our main character is Mike. He's played by Josh Hutcherson. He was in the Hunger Games. What else was he in, Savvy?
Zathura and Bridge to Terabithia. And that's all I remember right now.
And then he was a janitor, right?
He had like a space janitor TV show I never watched. He did a couple other things. I'm a big fan of Josh Hutcherson, so I was excited to see that he was in the FNAF movie as Mike Schmidt, who is the main character of FNAF 1.
Although we don't find Mike's last name until...
Yeah, we all know.
Like
if you know.
Which was, for if you don't know, then it was like, oh, that's weird. Why aren't they saying his last name? But they don't tell you the significance.
It's like, you figure it out. You don't even have to know, because they kind of, at the end, you figure out why they didn't do it.
Well, yes, but then there's also the game connection, too. Then we have Elizabeth Lail, I think is how you say her last name. She plays Vanessa. She is known for being in You, which is a Netflix show.
She's in Me?
It's a Netflix show
Gross.
about stalkers. And then she was in the remake of the Gossip Girl series, and she played Princess Anna in Once Upon a Time. We have Matthew Lillard as Steve Raglan. And these are the older people that I was talking about. So Matthew Lillard has a whole bunch of credits. He's probably most known as Shaggy from
I would
Scooby-Doo.
say.
But he was in Scream, and he's been in a bunch of other horror movies as well. So he's returning to the genre.
Did
And
he
then,
leave it for a while?
well, he was in Scooby-Doo. Is that horror?
But Scooby Doo hasn't been like a live action Scooby Doo hasn't been around
But
for like
he's been doing
hasn't been around for like 15
the
years.
voice of Shaggy and a whole bunch of other things.
And that's it?
Yeah, he's been a couple other things,
A
a
new
couple other
Scream
series.
movie just came out.
Yeah, but he like dies in the first one, so
And he always comes back.
always comes back and they shot him a second time.
And then he always comes back. You gotta shoot him a third time.
Yeah, that was also a line in the movie. So that's it. And then we have Mary Stuart Masterson, who plays Aunt Jane, and she was in Fried Green Tomatoes and the original Stepford Wives. She was also in Benny and June. And then I put Max and Jeff. Max is the babysitter. Her name is Kat Connor Sterling. She has
I think
probably the next highest
really?
lines.
Oh, I thought we're going kind of deep into this cast. I mean,
And
there's only
then
like 20 people.
There's
in
only
it,
20
but
people. And then I
still.
stopped at David Lynn, who plays her brother Jeff.
Who was in it for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, he's got some lines.
He has a couple.
But
you know it's more important than those two. Matt Pat from Game Theory's in this movie.
they were not credited in the like IMDb list of like the top people in this film.
There's a bunch of there's 2 YouTubers that are in this movie that like physically are. The rest are on Employee of the Month board in that I never saw. We rewatched it. I don't know. It must be in a shot somewhere. Maybe it was in the training video or something. But yeah, apparently they're on Employee of the Month board. But Game Theorist, Matt Pat was the waiter in this, which was pretty great. I heard they were trying to get Markiplier, but he was too busy for this movie. So
Too busy doing what?
he's making another movie about Iron Lung, and he's too busy being a guy. He's too busy being
Living life, doing things.
type of guy. You know what I mean? Sorry for the Markiplier hate. I just can't believe he wasn't in this movie. It really made me be like, really? Do you have anything else going on that's more important?
What character would he have been?
Maybe he would have been the taxi driver. Who knows?
Well, I like the taxi driver. So
Yeah, the guy who did the taxi driver was great. I forgot which YouTuber it was, though.
I will read the IMDb synopsis.
Okay.
It's really short. A troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. Accurate synopsis?
I mean, that's pretty vague, but you know what? It's fine.
Does he unveil what actually happened at Freddy's?
He kind of does over time.
I think his sister does a better job at that than he does.
She's cheating. She's cheating in a way because like she's being the ghosts are talking to her.
Yeah, well, they like her better than him.
Well, that makes sense because they're kids.
So this is Five Nights at Freddy's. So
wait, I found the other YouTuber. It's Corey X Kinshin. He was the cab driver. I just thought I felt bad, and now you know.
He did a good job too.
He did a great job. He got jump scared, and that's all he needed to be.
And he is also there is a mid-credit scene, and he is in that. So, and then there's a weird after-credit scene, which it's not really an after-credit scene. It's like a voice.
That says yeah.
Yeah, it reads out letters that spell words.
What does it say?
I don't remember. I couldn't quite understand we had to look it up at the end because I was trying. It was long and
It's Come Find Me, which is it's a tease for a potential sequel, and it's a secret message that I felt like was in another FNAF game, but I'm not sure.
So before we jump into the actual movie and spoil it for those of you that want to know what's up and don't want to go see it, what is our history with FNAF?
I played some of the games before, and I like them. I don't know what else. We read the book.
We've read 2 FNAF books,
We've
right?
read 2 FNAF books. We read the first one, the very, very first one.
Which was not canon and totally screwed me up when watching
It's
this
not
movie.
canon. It's its own thing. And then we read the novella series that is for the newer
Tales of
FNAF,
the Pizzaplex.
security breach based, Galtez the Pizzaplex, because I thought it would have relevance to the DLC of the game, and it actually kind of did, which was crazy, but we were confused because we skipped ahead.
Yes.
So we have a lot more FNAF books to get through. And apparently this movie has a novelization coming out soon.
At the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
So, like a month and a half after the movie comes out.
It's a weird choice. Normally
book
they
comes
go
out.
before,
Well, sometimes they come out like the day of.
in case you can't
That's
watch
some
the
of the
movie.
games that have novelizations, they come out like the next day or like the day of.
In case your family doesn't have Peacock, which I can't really blame them.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Peacock, I don't want to sell it too hard, but it's nice that you can you watch like a bunch of ads. Like 200
Yeah, you pay for the
seconds
streaming
of
service,
ads.
but it still has ads.
But it's not like Hulu where they cut off during commercials.
Yes.
And then show you ads. It shows you all of the ads all at once and then lets you watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the bummer is if you pause the movie at all, they'll show you another ad.
Well, the pause screen is the ad.
But that's disgusting.
Yeah. And so sometimes it's hard to see
What
where
if
you
I
are
want
at
to
in the
freeze
movie.
frame and have
Can't
Josh
do it.
Hutcherson make a weird face? I
He-
can't do
he
that
makes
because
quite a
Verizon
few.
Mobile is on the screen now.
For some of the weird things that we paused on.
It's disappointing, and I don't think something that I'm paying for should still have ads on it.
No.
Controversial opinion.
I'm not okay with product placement. Like, I don't want to see the ad. Just put the product in the movie, and then we'll call it.
Have them call with a Verizon phone.
Yeah.
Driving a fancy car.
Talking about parking assist. I'm so glad I got this car with parking assist.
It's ridiculous.
I'm okay with that. Like, but don't show me the ad. 'Cause I
Oh
don't care.
gosh.
All right, are we ready to dive in and spoil this?
Oh yeah. So we're gonna spoil this whole movie. If you've seen it, great. Join along in the conversation. If you haven't, but want to just listen to us tell you what happens in it, so you can tell all your friends, yeah, I saw the FNAF movie, but you don't have to pay for Peacock or go to the theater. We've got you covered.
This section is for you.
This section's for you.
All right, we open on a security guard watching some screens.
Classic FNAF. I would like to say this security guard was decked out too.
Yeah, it was like Rent a Cop.
Like he was wearing the full outfit. He had dangly keys and everything, which we don't see with our main character later.
No, he does put
He puts a vest on.
no
maybe.
effort into this job whatsoever.
So yeah, this guy is getting sweaty.
Yeah, he's trying to escape the room, and so there's like sounds coming from the door, and
You can hear music in the background
Yeah.
and like lights. They're having a party out there and he is stressed about it.
and so he can't leave through the door, so he's gonna leave through the grate, and he is able to unscrew.
Unscrewing extraordinaire, this man.
Yes,
What he do with his fingers?
very dextile, and so he gets through the grate.
And it goes through the biggest air duct I've seen in my life.
It was very roomy and
You know,
on the floor.
You
Aren't
say
air
that
ducts
air
supposed to
ducts
be in the air?
can't support weight.
No, if you see like
But-
things actually coming through the ducts, it makes a whole lot of noise, and a lot of times it's not meant for like a
But it was on the ground, so like I don't
pound
think that
person.
matters. I don't know. I've never tried it.
No, it seems gross.
TV and movies and games sure make me feel like I have to do that to be an adventurous type.
I'm gonna say all the bugs are
Crawl
in there.
through.
So
It's gonna be dusty as hell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have an asthma attack in the air ducts. Who wants to join me?
I found Savvy.
Dead in the air ducts. Why does the house smell weird? I wanted to be adventurous. So anyway, he comes out the air duct. He's in a weird hallway.
And he goes to the exit door. However, the exit door is not opening, and no one in this freaking place throughout the entire movie tries to kick a door open.
Nobody also tries to go through the front door.
No.
Which is baffling to me. I guess they just don't want to be seen by the animatronics because the entranceway, there's like a big entrance that says welcome, and then the stage is like dead straight ahead. And it looks like they're having a party in there, and this guy's stressing out. And the only one that's coming after him is Foxy, the fox pirate one with the hook.
So our security guard decides this door's not working. So then he runs to another door, which is like a grate, like a fence
it's
type
like a
door.
fence.
That's also not opening. So we're not having a good
He
time.
has so many keys.
Yeah. Doesn't use any of them.
What's jingling if it's not the keys? It's just a bunch of quarters in a sack. He plays arcade games.
I would too if I was a security guard.
Is that why they're coming after him? Because he was
naughty. He
what if
stole
he was
something.
too good at the arcade games, and they were like,
Had the name number one, and they're like, sir.
he's the number one on like Galaga, and the
It just says ASS. Like
they're like, how dare you?
This
Profanity in our pizzeria.
This is for kids.
We're gonna kill you.
And then
it's a good Christian pizzeria.
we so after we
like Scott would have won.
we see Foxy, and then it cuts to another scene where the security guard is now in a chair, strapped in, and there's a mask coming towards his face that have all of these gears that are not gears.
It's just spinning gears.
They're like saws, many saws in the face mask, and it's coming towards him, and then he's desperately trying to stop it.
Have made a torture device, or not them, but somebody did, made a torture device that they plug people in and they just shove a mask in their face until they die.
So it like cuts up their face, yeah. And so he manages to not.
What do you think that device is for? Is it just for was it made for torture, or did it have a purpose before then? Was it putting the faces on the body, on the endoskeletons?
Was that what the mask?
But really why does it need to be on?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Why would you need to bolt down an endoskeleton to put a mask on it?
Also, why would you have that many gears when the face doesn't really do all that much?
Just to kill, I guess. Yeah. The face doesn't do that much. And the way that the gears were placed, because
it's like on the cheeks.
It's not like it opens. Well, he does open his mouth.
Yeah.
And his eyes light up, and that's the only thing I could think of that would need any mechanics, because they're honestly kind of lame animatronics. They're not super fancy.
No, they're kind of dingy looking.
Yeah, they're kind of icky. So I think that was just made for torture and not for anything else.
Yeah, it definitely was not useful except for killing people. So that thus ends.
Oh, he tries to unscrew it too.
Yeah,
and he gets pretty far, but not far enough. And then he dies.
That's important because that will come up later.
Yeah, it's good that he got that far.
Then we get to our hero, which is Sleepy Boy Josh Richardson.
Sleepy Boy Mike.
He's waking up. He's got to get his sister ready for school while he puts on a tie. He's got a hole in his sock because he's a bum.
I have a hole in my sock right now. What are you talking about?
You're a bum.
That's so mean.
It's like his toe was fully sticking out.
Why do you think I asked for... My heel is sticking out. Why do you think I asked for socks?
And you got them.
I did.
So why are you wearing socks with holes?
Because I like them. Okay.
Memories. But your toe's not sticking out of it.
My heel is, not my toe.
And he has a tie on, and then we cut to another scene where he's sitting across the table from another dude, and they're talking about dream theory.
He's reading a book about it.
You can go back and like...
This part's kind of confusing because
things.
You can't tell if it's a flashback unless you are really paying attention.
Because he's not wearing a tie anymore.
He's wearing a different outfit. And that's the only way you can tell that it's a flashback. Because honestly, you see this guy and you're like, he's going to work. And you're like, okay. And then it flashes to him at a job, like talking to a coworker about dream theory.
They're security guards at a mall. They're on their lunch break. And then Josh Richardson is also going to go get some ice cream by himself. And he knows the ice cream lady, and she's like, "Bring your sister in. She'll really like this flavor." And then he sees this little boy who's kind of standing by himself, and this guy comes up to him, like,
aggressively grabs
and the kid does not want to go with him.
And so the kid's like staring at the food court.
He's like,
The
hey, hey.
dad's no, and the guy,
Mm.
spoilers, and the guy's like, "Come on, son." But anyway, Josh Hutcherson doesn't know that, so he thinks this kid's getting kidnapped. So he runs after this dude, and then just kind of like pushes him into
He like throws him into the
in
fountain
the
and like
fountain and
hits him
beats
over and
him.
over again. And then the little kid's like,
Dad.
Dad.
And then the other security guard has to get him off of him.
And then he is in a tie again, sitting in a chair, and his
I
number
thought
is
he was
called.
going to court.
No, he's going to a job counselor to get another job. Because we find out a little later on that he is the sole caregiver of his sister, and his aunt is looking to get custody because she wants a check from the state, is all Mike thinks that she cares about. He doesn't really care, and the sister doesn't like her either. So he is like, I need a job, any job, and that's where he meets Matthew Lillard's character. And Matthew Lillard's like, I have a job, it's shit pay, and it's even worse hours.
It's funny because he was so mean to Mike over here.
He's like, you're a loser. You only work this place 1 week.
You're not even trying at any of your jobs. And so he's like, I don't think I can find a job for you. And then he sees his last name and he's like, you know what?
Have some coffee with me.
I actually do have a job for you. It's a security position. But Mike's like, oh, I can't work nights. And so he's like, reconsider. Because
here's my card.
Literally the only option I'm giving you. I'm putting you into a corner here.
So that's when he goes to his sister's school and his aunt's like, I want custody. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And the principal, teacher, counselor lady.
Did that happen? Like having a meeting via custody with the counselor of the school?
The school can be part of
Is she
the
trying...
situation because they have tests and they have a lot of information about the child's well-being, but
was that meeting her trying to get more dirt on him via the school counselor
and probably saying like, I want to know what's going on because I'm looking to get custody, and he can't even stay awake, and he's a bum. Then I don't even know who she is. I think she's like the principal is what she looks like.
I don't know.
But she tells him, get a job.
Get a job, basically.
So he's like, okay.
I guess I'll do this night job.
We also see that Mike has dreams.
Yeah, so his whole thing is he's trying to remember a traumatic event that happened to him in his past, which is because he has a poster above his bed that says Visit Nebraska.
Like on the ceiling.
What's very funny is in my mind, I was like, Nebraska, making fun of him for it. And so did the movie.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's like, oh, Nebraska, huh? So he's trying to induce this specific dream over and over again by listening to nature sounds and looking at pictures of Nebraska.
It's just like trees.
Yeah.
Pining for
But I mean, it's working.
Yeah.
He also takes pills, by the way. He takes these
medicated.
pills that we don't know what they are.
And so he has the same recurring dream that his family is camping and his mom spills a Coca-Cola and she's like, watch your brother. And
I was so sure that spilling the Coca-Cola was going to be important. Like an animatronic was going to knock over a cup and spill Coke.
There's a lot that they could have done.
And then he'd be like...
It's like, there's that one movie where it was like the cup, right? That's how...
I have no idea.
It was the tea in the cup. Someone's going to know.
If you know, comment below. I'm confused.
I'm tired.
Help me.
It's like get out. That's what it is. And they hypnotize them with the cup.
Interesting. I didn't watch that movie.
You'd have to see it to know what's up.
Believe it.
See it to believe it. And so it's his brother getting abducted. He gets distracted by a frisbee, and then all of a sudden his brother, who was playing with an airplane, disappears in the back of this man's car, and he's driving away while Mike's running towards him. So he's trying to figure out details to figure out who this man is, and that's why he has this dream every night.
So sure that he saw the dude, which I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
I think he saw him at the back of the car. He's just trying to remember the back of that guy's head.
You could have also gotten the make, model, and license plate of that car.
That would have been more.
But it's that happened in the 80s, and it's now currently 2000, so it's like almost 20 years ago.
They even bring that up when they ask him, like, why do you do this? And it's like, so if you find out who this guy is, like, are you gonna turn him in?
Yeah,
Like,
a lot of people think that he wants to change it, but he's like, I can't change it. Like, it's already happened, but I'm just trying to find out who it is.
It sounds like he's just torturing himself for no reason.
Well, he feels guilty because it was his task.
He was supposed to watch his brother, and then he got kidnapped.
All right, so he takes the job, and we are now on our first night at Freddy's.
Night one. Dawn of the first night.
He does not get a tour. I don't know how he got keys.
It's from the guy at the office.
He just walks in, and you hear the Matthew Lillard's on the phone giving him instructions, like,
here, just hit the breaker.
Yeah, if the power goes out, the breaker's right there. Just watch the cameras.
That's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do. And then there's like a videotape waiting for him, like a VHS tape waiting for him.
That says his name on it?
Yeah, which was weird. I still think it's weird, considering how many, like, security guards that they go through.
It's just a piece of tape with Sharpie written on
it. There'd be so many pieces of tape on
just in the garbage.
Joe, Bob, Steve.
Yeah.
And it's an awful tape, but it's like these are... Welcome to Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, all those old training videos that are fun to watch.
And it's the creepy thing is this lady's arms never move.
Straight down.
Straight down.
That's the creepiest part. They try to do a creepy bit where they're like, and here's our fun animatronics. And the animatronics are like glitched out. And he just is like, I don't care. And then
turns it off.
Yeah, he's like, boop, boop. Oh, it's fixed.
And there was like a close up of one of them
at the end of the tape, and he was like, whatever. And then he closed it. It was like, okay, time to do laps around here, I guess.
He has a flashlight that instead of turning any of the lights on, he just takes a flashlight.
I just don't think he knows how to. I feel like he's half-assing everything, right?
Pretty much.
So he's gonna do laps, and check out the animatronics behind the curtains. Get spooked.
Then he takes a nap. As you do.
I mean, I don't blame him.
In the middle of the night with no one around.
Pretty in character for him.
Mm-hmm.
He sleeps a lot.
Yeah, he does. He has the same dream, except this time it's different. There are 5, right? There's 5 kids.
There's 5 kids, yeah.
And he's like, wait, did you see that dude? And they take off in all different directions, and he chases them, and then he trips and falls and hits his head on a rock and wakes up.
And wakes up on the ground.
Fell on the floor. Idiot.
There's like weird stuff coming through the speakers too.
Yeah, but he's not paying attention.
That's kind of like, is it like that theory where it can invade your dreams with white noise?
Maybe.
Isn't that like an old 90s theory with like TVs?
Simple little messages
coming in, yeah.
Yeah. Not really a thing.
It's not?
You can do suggestions, but you have to be like, it's not.
But people are so suggestive. Not the right word. Open to suggestions.
Yeah. So, it's like hypnosis. Hypnosis doesn't work on a lot of people because
they just don't believe it.
They don't believe it, or they're just strong-willed. So that was first night, and then second night.
Is anything else happen after that?
Probably. But...
I mean, he has a babysitter.
Yes.
We should probably talk about that.
Max,
who has been watching Abby for quite a while,
and she's like stayed the night, and
she stays the night,
sleeping on the couch.
And he's like, I'll pay you eventually, and she's like, don't worry about it, I know where you live. But turns out Max has a secret.
Yes, because she has an awful brother, and they're poor, and the aunt contacted them to find dirt on Mike, and the lawyer's like, I don't think I should be here for this because
he should.
They're definitely doing illegal activity. And they
that's
were
where Matt Pat the waiter is.
Yeah, they're supposed to pay him $200 to snoop, and they did, and she didn't find anything, and so they're not going to pay them the $200. So they're like, fine, what else can we do?
Proposes to like mess up his job.
Yeah,
basically to make him look bad at his job, for $2,000. But that's only if she actually gets the kid.
Yeah, it's weird. And they're also at this diner, not eating or drinking anything.
Yeah.
And then the waiter comes up, which is the YouTuber, and
game theory, Matt Pat.
Lunch is
he has a theory
best day of the...
about, was it lunch being the best?
Yeah. She's like, I thought it was breakfast. She's like, nope, it's lunch.
I've heard somebody try to tell me about that, where they're like, actually breakfast isn't important, and it was just a commercialism thing.
Probably.
And I was like, then why am I so hungry in the morning?
Because you're breaking your fast. Like, you've been...
Of my sleeping?
Yeah, because you've been sleeping for 8 hours. So you haven't eaten anything in 8 hours.
I see.
And
Is
breakfast.
breakfast not important then? Is
No,
it
it
better
is.
to wait until lunch? Then why is everybody like, I don't eat breakfast? Sometimes I just have a coffee.
Because most of the time people drink coffee and that's an appetite suppressant,
Oh, all right.
which they tell you should probably eat some fiber with your coffee. So that way you're not messing up your system. Because then by the time you're at lunch, you're like ravenous and you eat more than you should.
I see.
But who knows?
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
A food theory.
So they make the plan to mess up his job to get him fired. And
This is night 2 though.
night 2.
So he goes back to the job and he was taking a little nap when he hears a knock.
He brought his
He
like
brought
poster, right?
he brought everything.
Yeah.
He brought his sound stuff. He brought a
cassette tape.
poster. He brought his pills.
Because he wants to have the dream again to see the kids. And he sees the kids and he chases a different one this time. And that one
Yeah, he chases
scratches him.
Foxy with the hook and gets him. So he wakes up bleeding and there's someone knocking at his door in the rain. So he goes to the front door and is like, what? Because it's a cop.
She's like, did you fall asleep in there? Because I've been like banging on this door forever. It's like, what do
He's
you
like,
want?
no, just bluffing.
She's like, you're bleeding. Good thing I'm also an EMT.
So he's super confused as to why this cop lady's here, which I don't blame him.
It's on her beat. She likes to stop by and see how things are
And
going. Let me
she's-
introduce you to the gang.
She's interrogating him and he's so confused. And
She knows a lot about
turns
Freddy's.
on all of the lights and she turns on the animatronics.
And then she says, you want to dance?
And then Bonnie's like, ew, it's the rabbit and explodes.
Well, the guitar like sparks.
Yeah. I guess that's important because that comes up later.
Yeah. And then they
Everything short circuits.
make it to the end of the night together and they take off.
Yeah, she's there the whole time.
She gives him a badge that she stole from Freddy.
Yeah, I better watch out.
Stealing things.
You didn't earn that badge with enough tickets.
No. And so as they leave, then you see Max's brother.
Be like, it's time. It's ready.
He calls the sister.
And gonna bring the gang in to vandalize it in the middle of the day.
In the middle of the day, where there's no security guard.
I feel like it would have been worse if it happened while he was on duty.
Yeah. But then they would see him.
But then they would see him.
yeah.
But I feel like
Unless he fell asleep, that would be really bad because then he would get in trouble.
that would have been, I think, the better outcome is he was asleep the whole time and like they attacked at night.
Yeah.
And then the animatronics got him. And what if he saw that? Anyway, I'm not the movie creator here. I'm just full of ideas.
We have questions. Is what
Anyway, so they do it in broad daylight.
and they don't make it out.
They don't. So they're destroying.
There's 3 guys
throwing chairs. There's 3
making a
dudes.
mess. One of them's in the kitchen
Rose in the kitchen.
with Dinah.
I don't know what he's doing in the kitchen. Just throwing pots around, I
Yeah,
guess.
he had like headphones in.
I would keep my headphones in.
Yeah, but then he hears a noise.
He hears a noise in the fridge. The fridge is like wobbling and moving around.
I'm not opening that fridge.
So he opens that fridge and he sees the cupcake that Chica has, which is a cupcake with a face on it, if y'all don't know. And then it opens its eyes and he turns on his flashlight, but then a noise happens behind him.
The pots move.
So he turns around to look at it and then he chuckles. And then he goes back and like it's not there anymore. And now he's confused. It's funny that he saw a movement or he heard it and then he was like, whatever.
Silly me.
But then when the cupcake's gone, he freaks out. And obviously because Chica's behind him with the cupcake.
Yeah. And then the cupcake eats his face.
It does.
And then his friend sees him because he's screaming.
Yeah,
his friend with the beard
peeks through the thing and Chica looks at him.
She like side eyes him.
Yeah,
And he's
really
like,
well.
Oh crap!
I have to say that some of the performers in the animatronic suits, or puppet suits, I guess, did a good job, and some really didn't. I don't know if I can blame them for like the bending over not looking good. When they move their hands and their like head, it looks good.
These are Jim Henson puppeteers, right?
And they could have done better. You know,
They did
what?
actually a pretty good job.
They did an okay job, but like it's Jim Henson. You have no competition, so I can't really be like, There's another company.
So the bearded man runs screaming, and that's when we see Max's brother has made it into the security room.
Yeah,
And
he's watching the
he's about
security
to hit the
cam.
security cameras with a tire iron. And he hears his friend scream. He looks and he can see him running. And so the bearded guy hides in a closet, and his friend comes to try to find him. And then now he can't get out of the closet. And so he turns on the light, and behind him
Is Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hears him yelling, and then the door slowly, ominously opens.
Well, there's the handprint.
There's the red handprint on the door, and then it slowly opens.
And we'd be running.
And obviously, that brother's gonna run away.
Yeah.
And he runs away has quarters.
Yeah,
He has tokens all in his bag, and they're falling.
There's a trail.
Eventually he runs back into the security office, and the cameras he sees Chica and I think it's Bonnie putting the cupcake into the vents.
Which they fixed the vents since the security guard went through them.
They did. Very nice of them. They do clean up after themselves.
Yes.
Or at least somebody does.
Someone does.
And he manages to keep the grate closed. But how does he die?
Did he die? I think he tried to go out the door. And then it was the feet thing again, wasn't it?
It was Foxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Foxy. He got jump scared by Foxy. So he managed to stop the cupcake. He tries to go out the door, and the door's locked. He gets attacked by Foxy.
They can't go out the exit. No exit.
And the sister is like, why are they taking so long?
Because she was in the truck.
So she goes in and sees everything's busted, but no one's around.
And then she sees a little kid.
A little boy. Follow me, says the little kid. And she's like, okay. So she follows the little kid down into this room. That's where they store all the animatronic parts. And there's a full Freddy just there. And it's saying that she's warmer. And she's like, you gotta be kidding me. So she actually goes and gets a chair and stands on it and looks into Freddy's mouth. And then gets grabbed.
And then a little kid's hand comes out, grabs her, and then in the shadow, you see that Freddy, eats her in half.
Eats her in half. This isn't the bite of 87. This is a full eating.
Yes, she's now half the woman she was.
It's crazy, and probably the silliest part of this whole movie, next to the cupcake, I'd say.
Yeah.
I say cupcake top tier, then second is getting bitten in half.
I did not expect her to, maybe decapitated.
Maybe the head.
But no, she got full half.
It's crazy that ghost kid could pull.
A strong boy, that man.
I feel like the animatronics should grabbed and then
Yeah.
That would have made a little
chomped
more.
it.
Eat all of it. No traces. We just feed the dead bodies to the animatronics.
I think we said with this movie, it was either going to be over the top, super gross, or it was going to be campy.
They already made us over the top, super gross FNAF movie. It was that Nicolas Cage one, Willy's Wonderland. Yeah. This one's just kind of
there's some camp.
Yeah, but it's FNAF.
Yeah,
you can't really be like this movie's campy when it's FNAF.
So, Freddy's is trashed, and our neighborhood cop, Vanessa, drops by Mike's house and is like,
what the hell, Mike?
What the hell, Mike? I found these pills. Are you sleeping on the job? Freddy's is trashed.
And so that's when Vanessa finds out about Abby, too, because Abby's also at the door.
Which I also was like, at first when I saw this movie, I was like, I'm not ready for Josh Hutcherson to be a dad in a film. He's always that little boy from Terabithia to me. But, he's got just a brother. Sister. And so we get the backstory that...
Yeah, so Vanessa's like, take a walk with me. Or he's
by
like,
the
take
river.
A walk. I don't remember.
Yeah, he said
somebody wants to go for a walk. So they go by the river and talk about
dreams.
Their sad... Or he talks about his sad backstory. Yeah. She is cagey as hell.
So he talks about the dream. He tells her about the dreams. And that it helps him.
And that his parents both died, and he has to take those pills to help remember that. And he's like, I know it sounds crazy. And she's like, it's not crazy.
I know crazy, and that's not crazy.
Yeah, you do know crazy, Vanessa. For sure. So she throws his pills into the river.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
That's messed up.
Yeah. First of all, that's someone else's
Just
medication.
like, don't the cops have disposing
Yes,
medication fit?
and you don't throw your medication in the water.
Vanessa.
Come on, girl. And so Mike is about to have his third night on the job. He calls Max. Max does not answer, and so he's got to bring his sister to work.
So he's like, you're just gonna go to sleep in the security office.
He makes a little tent for
all you're gonna
her.
do. Very nice.
And then he puts on his nature
And
sound.
he's still gonna do it.
And he's out.
He doesn't really need the pills because
No.
he did it anyway.
Yeah. What a day.
Imagine having the same dream every single night.
That would be awful, especially it's like the worst day of your life.
Yeah,
You just relive
just
over and over
relive
again.
it over and over and over again, and you do it on purpose. I would dread going to sleep,
Yeah.
but this dude's sleeping all the time.
You would take pills to not dream, is what you would
I
be
guess
taking pills.
it's because
at
he
that
has a
point.
goal to try to find the thing that maybe
killer.
it's okay for him to do that.
So he's napping, and Abby.
Yeah, some little kid is saying Abby, and Abby tries to wake up Mike, and she's like, I'll be right back.
And she goes to the bathroom, and then
BRB.
she makes some friends, and then
He hears screaming in his dream because he's talking to the little blonde boy, and he's like, "Can you help me find out who was in that car?"
If we help you, what will you give us?
He's like, "Anything, I'll give you anything." And then the blonde boy like just kind of smirks and disappears, but then he leaves behind the image of a rabbit, the same image that's on the wall.
Dun, dun, dun,
Of the
dun.
pizzeria.
The little kids drawing.
Anyway, he hears screaming, and so he gets up and he's like, "Oh my gosh, my sister's getting
That's not
attacked."
like laugh screaming either. That's like screaming.
So he runs in, and she's getting tickled
By the whole cast.
The whole cast.
Creepy.
The whole animatronic cast is
Mike's
out
also like, what the crap? And he like picks up a chair and is like gonna lion tame him.
He's gonna attack Freddy.
Freddy's like
walking over, red eyes, and he put angry eyebrows. And she's like, "No, that's my brother. Don't worry about him."
They still don't like him.
They don't like him.
No.
But they're more okay with him. They blink at him nicely when they were introduced. And he's so confused. He's like, "So someone's controlling these guys, right? Like, haha, very funny, guys. This is
come on,
you got me." And she's like, "They like my drawings." And he's like, "Okay, we're leaving now. We're getting out of here.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye to your friends. This is messed
She
up."
draws a little heart picture for him and gives him a hug, and then they out.
Yeah, that was the most reasonable thing that Mike could have done here. And that's when Mike should have quit.
Yes. Mike should have been like, "Excuse
I'm
me,
done.
these animatronics are moving on their own and they are tickling my sister."
They're tickling my sister. I can't handle this, and I can't find a babysitter, so...
Yeah. Just, that would look better if you quit your job for childcare stuff. Be like, "I can't leave my sister alone. I can't take her to work.
Yeah.
These crazy animatronics."
But
Judge.
But then something happens, which is Abby starts drawing the kids
Yeah.
from the dream, and she also...
Well, she's been drawing them before.
That's what I thought,
Yeah.
but I was looking at the artwork on her walls and stuff, and they weren't there.
I think they're there later on. I don't know.
They said it seemed implied that they were always there.
Because the principal said, like, art is really important to kids, and who's in the middle of all of her art, and it was Mike. But now it's a bunch of kids, and it's the kids that Mike sees.
It's the kids. So he sees that, and he's like, "Wait a second." And then he also sees that she drew a picture of Garrett getting taken.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the
"We
image from his
never
dream.
talked about this."
And then, so he's making her, like, breakfast.
Soup.
Something. And he's like, "Do you know we used to have a little brother?" And he's like, "I don't talk about him." And she's like, "Neither did mom and dad."
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, where'd you get this drawing?" And she's like, "My friend told me about it." He's like, "The little blonde boy?" And she's like, "Yes."
And she's like, he's like, "Do you remember, did he say anything about the driver of the car?" And she said no. And he's like, "Could you ask him about it?"
No, she's like, "I could ask him."
Oh.
He's like, "I would really appreciate that."
So that just...
So she's coming back tonight.
Yep, to ask questions.
But before they go in, Vanessa's there.
Yeah, she's just hanging out already.
And Mike's like, to his sister, he's like, "If I asked you to stay in the car, would you?"
Well, yeah, because he wants to talk to
No.
Vanessa. Because when they showed up, he's like, or she's like, Vanessa's here. And he's like, how do
Also,
you...
Vanessa's in Freddy's.
Yeah,
Like,
she has a
he has the
key.
key. Why does she have the key?
That should have been a red flag for Mike
Yeah.
because she knocked the
Yeah, she
second
knocked.
night, keeping up the facade here. The third night, she did not. So,
Be like, interesting.
and like all the animatronics were out too.
Yeah.
Like the curtain was open. She like was just looking at artwork because when Abby walked in, she just walked straight up to the stage and they were all like, "Hey."
Yep. And she's like, "Oh, you know." And he's like, "That these are dead children?" Yes. It's like, what?
I figured it out.
We're just going to gloss over this whole thing.
Ghosts of dead children are possessing these animatronics, and Mike figured it out because of the dreams
And the drawings.
and the drawings. Drawings are powerful.
When your dreams and your sister's drawings are the same, must be ghost children inhabiting animatronics.
Obviously.
Yes. And so Abby draws
feels
another
the Garrett
picture.
vibe, is what she says too.
This place feels familiar.
Feels pretty Garrett in here.
Like an airplane.
like a
In the back
missing
of a
child.
car.
Feels like a missing kid's milk carton in here.
So it's a play date, and they want to build a fort, and they have to make it taller because those are some big
giant
animatronics.
Like Josh Hutcherson. Josh Hutcherson's kind of a small dude. So he's like stomach height to these animatronics.
Like, gotta make it bigger. And so him and Vanessa go into the storage room to get tablecloths, and she knows where everything is. And again, he's starting to be like, how do you know this?
Do you know this?
And she's like, don't worry about it.
And he sees there's like an animatronic in the corner. It's like a baby doll
With its like stomach
with its
stomach
open. And he was like, I'm gonna touch it. And she's like, don't touch it. Those have spring locks.
Which were okay. So this is the part where it's like,
What?
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Like,
This say what?
say what? The spring locks were made to make it easier for the person to be in the suit, but they're also deadly.
Yeah. So they kept the animatronic bits in there, but that people can wear the suits still. But because they're finicky, they tend to kill the people inside of them because they
spring load and jab you in your vital organs.
And I guess nobody fixed it. So.
And so she uses a broom to like poke at it, and it
one poke, and it's over.
And Mike's like, "What if Abby would have walked in here?" And she's like, "Well, I didn't bring her."
Yeah. No, but you're helping me build this fort.
I know. It's like, what?
They have a little bit of a fight.
Yeah.
And when they build the fort,
she's not giving him any information. He's like, how do you know any of this stuff? Of course, he also did not look up any information. She told him about the missing kids.
Yeah, but he doesn't have
the
like
night
a
before,
computer or anything.
And he didn't ask anyone.
He doesn't talk. He sleeps. That's all he does.
What's up with this Freddy place?
He doesn't care.
Yeah. So they make her fort.
They make the fort.
And they're playing and dancing. And then they're singing a song. And Abby goes up to play with
Bonnie's guitar.
Which we know is finicky. And so Vanessa's like, no, don't. But
it's too late.
Listen.
She exploded. R.I.P. Abby. Just kidding.
She wakes up coughing. It's like the scene from Jurassic Park where the kids get knocked off the electrified
got a little bit electrocuted.
Yeah.
I feel like if you got that electrocuted, that you got like exploded, something that's seriously wrong.
Yeah. You pass out and like hit your head.
I've been
you could
just
have a concussion.
mildly electrocuted. I can't imagine exploded electrocuted.
And so they leave.
Yeah.
And they leave early. So he doesn't even make his full shift.
Nope, he does not.
No.
He's gonna dock his pay for that.
Yeah. And Vanessa's like, if you bring Abby back, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. He's very confused.
Yeah.
We're all confused.
So he goes home, and who knows what time it is because the sun's not out. And he makes a phone call, and then his aunt shows up
It's
at the
the
house.
next morning. Yeah,
Yep.
he wakes up Abby, and she's like, "Is that bacon?" And he's like, "Yeah, I need to talk to you downstairs." But downstairs is the aunt.
Yes. Who Abby hates. And she's like, I hate you.
I feel like he mainly just called her in to babysit.
Yeah.
Because she's like, we really have to talk about this when you get back. And he's like, yeah, when I get back.
Puts on a backpack, leaves.
He decides to go to Freddy's early.
Mm-hmm. Take his pills.
Take his pill.
It's like, I gotta figure this stuff
He
out.
goes and gets more pills. A pharmacist decides to tell him to not take his pills and instead take milk.
Warm milk with chamomile.
Gross. Yeah, I don't think a pharmacist should do that. Just give me the pills. I don't blame Mike at all.
Mike was so rude to the pharmacist. The pharmacist was just trying to be friendly, and he was like, "Can I have my pills?"
He doesn't even say anything. He just grabs the pills, and then the pharmacist calls him like a douche.
Yeah. As he was. So, we're dreaming, and the dream's a little different.
Yeah, he's not getting kidnapped this time.
Mm-mm. They're all sitting around the table, and
there's no Coke spilled.
Nope. Just some juicy
The sloppy
hamburgers.
joes are there. Are they hamburgers?
They're hamburgers. They just like to pile on the ketchup. And then that little creepy blonde boy shows up, and he's like, "Don't you wish life was like this always?" And he's like, but it can't be because he did.
Yeah.
And they're all dead.
And they're like, well, it could be like that in your
dreams.
Like
you could have this. And then, of course, each family member goes around like, yeah, Mike, don't you want to stay here with us? And forever. Abby's fine on her own. She loves her friends. And so he's having like a moment. And he's getting all teary-eyed. And he's like, what?
So he's like, how do I keep in this magical dream? And the little blonde boy is like, you give us Abby.
Give us Abby. And he
says yes. And then he touches Garrett's face and remembers Abby. And he's like, never mind. I changed my mind. No. Whoa, wait a second.
And then all of a sudden everyone's gone and he's in the middle of the woods and he's like, hey, wait.
Come back. I changed my mind. I should take backsies. And then they
take backsies. Then each of the kids come and like take him out.
Yeah, like, they all stab him in their own ways.
Et tu, Brute.
And then he wakes up in the torture device.
Yes.
In the animatronic torture device, the thing is really close to his face.
And it's like, oh, great. This is how all of the security guards go out.
Yeah.
And so he is also doing what the past security guard did, where he's able to get his hand out. And then he's like feeling around and he finds the button and the button releases him. And at the last minute, he gets out.
They never tighten the thing back.
No. And so he's like injured and like limping around, and then
he goes to that gate that can't open.
That freaking exit door that never opens.
I think Foxy just hangs out there because they know people are gonna run towards that gate.
It's their corner.
There's just their section, yeah. So he gets jump scared again by Fox, but it also kind of looks like he made it outside. He either got by Foxy or he actually, because it was it was the push door for the outside. And it kind of looked like he might have made it outside.
Yeah, we're not sure about that.
But he's injured enough.
Yeah, so he's been poked and prodded.
Because the next time we see him, he's somewhere else getting... Yeah.
He's in a police restock station being put together again by Vanessa.
Yeah.
She's like, I stopped the bleeding, but you're definitely going to need stitches.
She's so vague as to be like, I found you all injured in...
Yeah. Where were we? Where did I end up? How did I get here? And then we cut to the aunt.
The aunt being like, you can't stay in your room forever, Abby. And Abby doesn't reply.
Like,
and
so
the aunt goes to watch TV. But then at the door, I guess, in the house.
In the dining room.
Is Golden Freddy.
With his blue eye.
Which is just like regular Freddy, but with messed up eyes and is a little bit more golden.
It's that stupid blonde kid.
Mm-hmm. So,
creepy.
How does Abby come downstairs? Oh, she hears a thump.
Yeah.
She hears a thump, so she comes downstairs and she sees...
I don't think there is a downstairs. It's like a one. It's just her room's at the end of the hall.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
She goes somewhere. I thought there was a downstairs.
She sees him and like gets all excited. My
friend's here, and he's like, time to go play. And then she sees the ant on the floor, and he's like, silly ant gets... She
took a nap.
And
we still don't know what.
We don't know what happened to her, and we never will. So she's like, how are we going to get to the pizza place? And I guess he called the taxi.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she gets in the taxi, and the taxi driver is like, "What the hell?"
Why
And
would
then
you
all of a
call a
sudden,
taxi as
the
a
like
road?
taxi dips down. So he's like, "Why do I always get the weird calls?" And so they're on their
How
way
are they gonna
to.
pay? In tokens?
Maybe it was prepaid. Maybe they have someone's credit card. Maybe
It's
they
a
have the previous
business
card.
expense.
Yeah.
Michael Afton's credit card.
There you go. And so
His name isn't Michael. What's his name?
William.
William. Michael's the main guy. I'm so tired.
So then we got to go back to Mike and Vanessa, and Mike's like, "What the hell's going on, man?" Like,
Yeah, I'm so confused, Vanessa.
and then he is
and I
like,
don't trust you, Vanessa.
"Don't trust her." And then he's like, "I got to get Abby. Abby's in trouble. Like these kids in my dream, they want her," and I said yes. And so she's like, "I have something to
I
show
have something
you."
to tell you.
She takes a picture out of her back. Well, she talks about
The kids,
the kids and Freddy's, and
how they are corpses in a suit.
so she talks about the man that ran Freddy's was brilliant but cruel, and so these kids went missing, and of course the parents looked everywhere and they couldn't find them, and the one place they were in the suits.
They're in the suits, getting stinky.
And which Mike saw the corpses in the room that he escaped.
Yeah, they were trying to put him in suits
Yeah.
of the like people who vandalized the place.
And so he knows what's up.
He kind of knows,
But he just didn't know what Vanessa's.
But in the picture of Vanessa,
So she has a picture that she takes out of her back pocket. It's her as a young girl
in front of,
and it's
a golden bunny.
golden bunny at Freddy's.
At Freddy's, and that was her dad, William Afton, and she is holding the plane that Garrett had after he got kidnapped.
And he was taken.
So we kind of pieced the thing together that Afton is the one who stole Garrett at that camping trip.
And they never found Garrett.
They never found Garrett. But Garrett's not in one of the suits.
He's not in one of the suits, yeah. He's not
This
one of the
guy's
children.
just killing children all over the place.
Could have been before. It could have been.
Yeah.
Before he got his.
And then gives the toys to his actual daughter.
And so she can't go against him, so she's not going to go. But she gives him
her cop car.
The car, she gives him tasers, and she gives him this like cattle prod.
Yeah, she says take him out with electricity.
Yeah. And so he's like,
which is a thing in the book.
Yes.
That's how our main protagonist Charlie takes out at least Chica and herself in the process.
So then we go back to Freddy's, and Abby is there, and the golden Freddy leaves her at the door, and we don't see him.
We don't see him ever again.
And so she goes in, the whole door, like there's lights around the door, and that all lights up like it used to be, and they're excited to have a new playmate.
They start singing the same song again.
And then Chica takes her to the back, and it's
in
that
your sleep
creepy freaking doll that ate the broom, and she's like, "No, I don't. What are we doing?" And so Chica tries to put her into the doll, and she's like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, I'm glad that the spring locks didn't go. It hit with the broom, but she touched them with her hand. It didn't matter. Chica's trying to shove her in there for like a long time before Mike gets there.
Has a secret entrance that Vanessa tells him about. He ends up like coming out of a vent, and then he uses water.
And like what's funny is, so the Chica and the Abby thing is happening in like a back room, but Freddy and Bonnie are just rocking out to Secrets in Your Sleep. What's the whole name of that song?
I have no idea.
Which I guess is fitting because he dreams there.
True.
What if he talks in his sleep? They hear the secrets that he keeps.
That's how they really know.
That's how they're singing. Garrett. But what's so goofy is like, so they definitely hear him come through the vents, and Freddy just does like a complete 180 turn, angry look at right where
but he's hiding.
He is, but he's hiding. So he's like,
crouch run.
I'm gonna finish this song.
So Mike pours water on the stage, and then he uses the taser, and so they're down for the count.
No more singing.
No more singing. And then he goes.
Do they like
into the back
sing before they kill people to like hide the noise of screaming?
I just think they like to rock out. There's just like never anyone
There's
at
no
Freddy's,
one over there. It's like an abandoned area.
Yeah, they're just like, eh.
Freddy's just
we don't have an audience. All that
talking in your sleep again. Yep. They only got 2 songs.
Yep. And so Mike goes to save his sister, He tases her too, right?
He tases Chica in the eyeball,
Yeah.
and then he grabs his sister, and he's like, I want to say, no matter what happens, we'll always be together.
You're the
And
most important person to me. And she's like, I love you too. Let's get the crap out of here.
Get out of here, Mike. We'll talk about this later.
And then you see the cupcake.
The cupcake does attack Mike's leg, and he's like, go on without me. And she says, okay, and does.
Runs.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
You know, I really do. She just goes for it. She sees the dead corpse, not the dead, they're not actually dead, but the laying on the ground of Freddy and Bonnie, and just kind of looks at them and then runs off.
Yeah. Then
Where'd she go?
She goes to the arcade.
Yeah.
She's hiding behind one of the machines.
She's Foxy.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want to go through the front. So she goes to the left and goes into the arcade and hides behind the arcade machines and the ball pit.
Yeah, and then she ends up going into the ball pit. And then Mike's having a hard time.
Mike is having. He doesn't manage to cattle prod the cupcake off of him.
Yeah, but he's leaving like everything behind. Like taser on the ground, that on the ground, cattle prod on the ground. Is that only one use?
Is destroyed by the cupcake. I don't know why he left the taser, but.
And then Abby's in the ball pit and she gets picked up and it ends up being Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
And
Vanessa's like, I gotta guess take you somewhere safe so I can go save your brother.
Yeah, but they're too late.
Yeah. Mike is limping towards the exit, but then the golden bunny comes out.
And it's so gross.
And it's super gross. It's burnt on one side. Yeah. It's like already all messed up, which is kind of weird, but...
So he tases it. It doesn't do anything.
Nope.
Because it's not an animatronic.
It's not an animatronic. It is a man.
It's Matthew Lillard, the guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor.
And Vanessa's daddy.
Brings out a knife.
Mm-hmm. And so they get like separate, right? Because then he's gonna like revive the.
Well, he does revive it. He's like, my children, get up. And they were like, okay, we aren't even that injured. You know, we'll just set everything back, pop our arms in the place.
Yeah, we're good.
It doesn't even matter. We were just napping. So they get up and they're walking very slowly towards our group. Mike is like on the ground because I feel like Mr. Mike Afton here is William Afton. Why do I call him Michael Afton? It's William Afton. William Afton is like punching him and stuff and kicking him
and
while
he's in
down.
the suit, so you know that
it's gonna hurt because it's metal and Mike's already messed up. So Vanessa comes in with a gun.
And he's like, "You're not gonna do that.
Stop it, Dad. I'm gonna shoot you." He's like, "No, you're not." And then she does.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
And then he's like, "What? I can't believe this."
Yep. And then so they're fighting. He's got the knife, and
he just straight up stabs her in the gut,
right in the stomach, and she's like, "Dad."
Abby runs towards Mike, who's on the ground, not doing so hot.
And then he's like, "Oh, it's the pictures that because they don't remember," is what Vanessa tells them that, right? They don't remember what happened to them.
Vanessa does say that.
And so
Mike says
he's like, "Abby, you have 30 seconds to draw me a picture.
You have the power."
And so she tears off the rabbit picture that was on there, and then she replaces it with her own, which is the rabbit with a knife and these kids with X's on their eyes. And then all of a sudden they're like,
I remember now.
I remember.
And then they all turn towards Afton Golden.
He's just like super rude to them.
He's like, "You're nothing. I made you. You were super lame and tiny and weak and stupid before. And now you're giant and scary. Isn't that way cooler?"
And then the cupcake gets him.
The cupcake? Yeah, the cupcake
like bites the stomach so that it takes away the costume so you can see the internal stuff.
So you can watch him get spring locked
in the lung and
the gut,
other vital organs.
I'm surprised they didn't have him bleed from his mouth. I guess he put on the mask before they got that chance.
I always come back.
And then he puts on the helmet, and then they all drag him away.
Yeah, so the FNAF people are dragging him away. Freddy people.
The cast.
As Mike tries to pick up Vanessa, but not very well.
Yeah, Abby has to help too.
Yeah, he's dragging her. They're dragging the bunny, and then
they manage to leave.
That's it. And then we get an end scene where Abby's doing great. It's been a couple weeks.
No nightmares here.
No one's talking about the aunt at all.
Yeah, well, no one knows what happened to the aunt. Not worried about that. Although the animatronics do clean up after themselves, so
Yeah.
maybe they did that. Or at least Vanessa. And Vanessa's KO'd. She's in a hospital.
Yeah, so Mike goes to see in the hospital, and Abby wants to eat both spaghetti and pizza.
But she settles with spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then also,
She's like, "Can we go see my friends again? They're so lonely." And he's like,
maybe.
"Maybe."
Maybe someday.
No one's going back.
They are going back in the sequel,
There's a
probably.
sequel, yeah. And then we get that's it.
Well, you get a scene
there's that
where...
scene. Yeah, there's that creepy blonde boy, and he's looking in like a closet, and that's where the rabbit is.
Yeah, they just threw him in a closet.
And
they
he,
look
like,
so
puts his
menacing,
hand out,
dragging them away. But at the end of the day, they just threw him in a closet.
Yeah.
Just to die.
Yeah.
And also the YouTuber gets jump scared by Balloon Boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
And then you have the creepy voice at the end. But
yeah,
that's it.
that's the movie.
That's all, folks.
I think as far as a rendition of the first FNAF game, I think I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think if you didn't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy, you might miss quite a few things.
I think the Ghost Kid thing, because it happens so fast.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to piece together, like, how does Mike know that? But you just know that in your heart because you're a FNAF fan. So
it does help to know a little bit about what's going on.
But I feel like I've talked to 2 different groups now of non-FNAF fans, and some people get it, some people don't. So I don't know. It's up to your parents if they figure it out or not.
All right.
I guess we'll talk to you later. I don't have anything else to say.
What are we do we even know what we're watching?
I have no idea. And I never do for the AV Club. It's always a
whatever
random,
happens.
Whatever happens, we will always come back.
Yes.